You're listening to the Bathtub Refinishing Podcast. Powered by BathTubGuys Refinishing. We discuss the refinishing industry, interview owners and operators, and give tips to business owners and entrepreneurs. Now, here's your host, Daniel Montalvo.
Hello, guys. Welcome back to this podcast.
Good morning.
And
good afternoon.
Yeah, it's afternoon already, right? Let me go ahead and put you guys on screen real quick. There you go. See, nice
awesome.
and easy.
It's morning where we're at.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's over here. It's about to be like 2 p.m. It's like 1:30ish. But pleasure to have you guys aboard. Go ahead and introduce yourselves. I know you guys are eager to get going here.
Awesome. You want to go first, my love?
I'm Patty Gonzalez. I am owner, right, with my husband, Rudy.
Yep. And I'm Rudy Gonzalez. We own Rudy's Fantastic Shine, bathtub refinishing and carpet cleaning company.
Oh, nice. So you guys, when you guys started, was that the idea to have a hybrid, or did the demand for both things kind of started and you're just like, we're going to do both?
Yes, we started off in the apartment industry.
Okay.
Doing bathtubs, maintenance, painting, carpet cleaning, and cleaning.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a lot. Kind of like what Alliance is doing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We were doing the flips in the apartments. And my wife developed eczema in her hand, so she had quit cleaning, and we kind of dropped the other stuff. But I stayed with the carpet cleaning.
I get that too, by the way. I have really sensitive skin.
That, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a bummer.
Yeah.
She was the best cleaner around here.
Oh. On to bigger
she
and better
still
things.
is.
So what area of California do you guys serve?
We're in Northern California, up in Yuba County.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like 40 minutes past Sacramento.
Okay, yeah, because I know Danny does a lot of stuff in the Bay Area.
Right.
And stuff like that. So that's cool. So you guys are like in the opposite end, pretty much, right?
Yeah, we're licensed contractors, so we go all over for bathtub refinishing.
Cool. Okay.
Definitely.
We were just down there.
Berkeley,
2-3 weeks ago, we were down there doing a job. Few jobs, yeah.
Okay. And is it primarily you guys, or like you guys have people who work with you? How does that whole thing work out?
At the moment, it's just Patty and I again.
That happens.
Yeah.
In an industry like, especially the tub thing, man, it is so hard to find people because you actually have to turn your brain on a little bit, and that's usually where most people are just like, what? You have to think about what you're doing, and and there's like, I wouldn't say artistry, but there is like a lot of technical and detail oriented work that goes into it. So I feel you, man, because I've had struggles. I've only had luck with people who are basically already trained, except for like one guy. Every single time I try to train people, it's just like 3 months in and they still are pretending like they don't know how to put up a piece of masking paper. It's just...
They're scared to spray.
Yeah, they go in there scared about the spraying, like you said, and then it makes them mess up. Like if they just want, like they overthink it, they stop in the middle of the tub, whatever, and it's just, I don't know. I feel like it's harder to find stuff. So I don't blame you. A lot of people that I interview are owner operators. They do both things themselves, and it's very, very rare that I even talk to a refinisher that has a team or a crew. It's just so happened that I got one of the rare ones like Danny, who has like 10 people. And hats off to him for cracking the code. But
right,
I have,
thank you, brother.
Yeah, I have 4 people, and 2 of them are like full-time subcontractors, have their own business, and I'm lucky to have that. But yeah, I don't blame you. That whole thing of hiring people for this kind of thing is very much a pain in the ass.
And that's awesome for you too. That's awesome. We did have 2 employees, one for the carpet cleaning. And business had slowed down for carpet cleaning. So he had to go move on. And that was our son-in-law. Okay. And then we had our son for refinishing and, family members. And it didn't work out. And
he's an amazing refinisher as
yeah,
well, and
very talented. He's very, very good at the craftsmanship. He learned it really. Well, how old was he when he learned it?
well, he had gone on a couple of jobs when he was like 16.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
How old
But
is
he's
he?
been trained since he was like 22 or something.
Yeah.
That's why.
Mm-hmm.
At that
Yeah.
age where, things haven't fallen into place mentally a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's 28 right now.
Oh, he's 28 now? Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Okay, I
Yeah.
got you.
Yeah.
Um,
But he's a good refinisher.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's a hard trade too, though. I'm not gonna lie. Like it is not for everyone. A lot of people, like I've had like even my brother, who started when he was around 16. When my parents owned the business, he started because he didn't finish high school. He started working with them because they were like, hey, you're gonna do something. And just doing it for like 8 or 9 years, it puts a lot of stress on you, like especially the fumes, man. They're no joke. And being exposed to that for long periods of time, it could do stuff. So I never fault people for, like, looking to do other things. Like I've had a cousin that worked with us too, and he left for a similar situation. Like it takes a toll on your health and stuff like that. But I always, the way I see it, it's like you could step away and still try to contribute something to the business and kind of set up the next generation of people to do it.
Yeah.
Which is kind of the way I approached it. It was like, well, if you're not going to do that anymore, we'll just find someone else to do it, and you do this now.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Right.
And so he kind of does, like, he handles more like field operation stuff because he was in the field for so long. He kind of is like the specialist when it comes to that. And so he doesn't have to be in there the day to day and the grind and hail all that stuff and stuff like that. But like he's still involved in the business. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's
Mhm.
awesome. Yeah,
That's good.
definitely.
Yeah. So, man, I got a lot of questions. So, how is business over there? Is it more seasonal? Are you guys busy year round? Is one thing more busy than the other? How does that go over there?
It's been a weird, like October, usually, Thanksgiving or whatever gets slow.
Mm-hmm.
October, it got slow for us this year. That's kind of why we lost CJ and Andrew as well.
Okay.
Um, Due to it being so slow, they got backed up. And even now, where before we used to work up to Thanksgiving or to Christmas,
Mm-hmm.
and this year it's been not very good for us. It's been crazy.
Okay. And
Yeah.
do you know why? Do you have a hunch?
Um, I'm not. I believe our marketing is messed up. We're like your parents, bro. We've been in business for over 23 years, and we just celebrated 30 years of being married.
Congratulations.
You know what I mean?
That's impressive by itself. But we're going to the business side of things. What are you guys doing for advertising?
We're doing Facebook. We're doing the ads. We're
Mhm.
going on the pages, on the groups. We're
Okay.
putting ads on the groups. We do the sponsor, the ad.
Mm-hmm.
Not as often, because when it slowed down to us, it was like $50 would add it to another $50 and another $50. So for us, it was like we got to keep our employees busy, so we got to give that money. And so I kind of stopped because doing the advertising
Uh-huh.
because of that.
Okay.
So I had to kind of choose what I needed to do, but I know that I needed to advertise to get work, but then I had to pay my employees.
Okay.
And so
So
that kind of slowed us down too.
okay. So on the advertising front, it's primarily Facebook?
Facebook. And then it
Okay.
goes to Instagram.
Okay. Have you guys ever tried Google Ads?
No, we have not.
You guys need to get on Google Ads, man. Here's what I always tell people about Google Ads. Google Ads is intention-based searching, whereas Facebook is you are marketing to people who might not necessarily want that, right? It's more of a guessing game, whereas Google is a search engine. So people go out there with the intent to search about bathtub refinishing and carpet cleaning and whatever else you guys offer. So because it's intention-based search, your chance of converting somebody is higher. Does it cost a little bit more? It could. Depends on competition in the area and stuff like that. But you will actually end up saving money if you optimize it properly. You got to learn how to do it. It is not super hard, but it is something where you gotta tighten down how you let Google advertise. Because if you let these platforms do everything automatic, or like the magic recommendation modes that they give you, they will just start spending your money left and right. You got to tell it what you want it to advertise. If you want it to advertise tubs, make a campaign just for tubs, tub and tiles, showers, that, and then keep that separate from the other thing. But, the best thing you can do is to today, after this, go and start searching and see who's running advertising in your area and what kind of ads they're putting out, and start getting an idea of how you're going to implement it. But you really should. Google Ads I'll tell you a little bit about how we advertise. So primarily Google Ads, I spend approximately between $400 and $500 a day on Google Ads, but I have a lot of people, so that's partially why. It could be anywhere between $13,000 and $15,000 a month. But we're doing about $5,000 to $6,000 worth of work a day, and that's on the low end. That doesn't count apartments. That doesn't count hotels. That is just residential. And we charge, like $500 for a bathtub. I don't know what the prices are in your area, but like stuff like that, tub and tiles, usually between $700 and $800. Like, it just depends, right? There's always those caveats, but that's more or less. And so, as you start, when I started Google Ads, though, I started with $20 to $25 a day advertising, right? So what does that work out to? I mean, not that much. I mean, it might be like a couple $100 a month, if that. And then you can also do some things on Google Ads that allow you to really get a gauge on how much you're spending, which would be like you can set a cap on how much you want Google to spend on a click. So if you are afraid that, like, okay, let's say you go tomorrow, you say my budget's $20 a day. That's all I could afford. Fine. But if you don't tell Google, hey, I only want to spend $5 per click, it'll probably give you a $15 click, and then you're done. So if you want to try to get the maximum out of it, you got to, like I told you, learn the platform. It's not super hard, but watch a couple of videos, try a test campaign or two. If you guys need it, I will help you for free. I've helped a bunch of people set that up, and I'll do the best I can, because I don't know your guys' markets. It is a little different, but I can help you with the basics. And you just want to focus it in so it knows where you want it to spend your money, so that you don't get anything out of it. But Google Ads is gigantic. I could seriously say that it's built our business up to a supreme other level, because people are actively searching for it. Like I said, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we were spoiled, bro, because we lasted 22 years on word of mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, we never had the Facebook thing. We're like, we always got our work from Facebook, and we thought about the Google Ads, and then you hear those things. Oh no, don't do Google Ads. It's not worth it or whatever. But in my area, there's only like Miracle Method.
You have a really golden opportunity there, man. Because if
we charge $750 for a tub.
If I only had Miracle Method next to me, it would be a done deal, man. Like I would destroy them, because not only the thing is, Miracle Method, they are like very whatever, because they're national. So word kind of gets fed to them because they are the big name, but locally, they don't do as much hotels as we do. They don't do. I would highly doubt that they do as much jobs as we do, because I've hired people from Miracle Method here before, and they tell me that it's slow. There's only 3 or 4 techs. They're franchises, so they're basically a big company name but they're locally owned, and like most of the time it's two or three people operating them, and they get all the work first, and then whatever's left they pass it on to their guys or whatever.
Right.
But at that price and in that market, if you really are sure that you only have that level of competition, man, you can get a bigger piece of the pie. Like I'm talking about in a month, you could be in a different level if you just start implementing stuff. It is like a little bit daunting, I know, because trust me, like just a couple years ago, I was the one who was like, what the fuck? Do I pay the people? Do I put the money into advertising? But you got to remember, as a business, your blood is cash flow. It is new jobs coming in. And like, I understand wanting to keep the people busy, and you should as much as possible. But if the work isn't there and you're not you're taking out money that could produce new business to maintain someone, eventually the business runs out. You know what I mean? And if the business runs out and all you have is an employee sitting there, you're not really doing them any favors. And you're not doing yourself a favor either. Yeah. Cash flow is literally the lifeblood of any business. So trying to constantly get work is the formula for having like success. And if you guys, I don't know how old you guys are, but if you guys are starting to think about maybe retiring.
Guess how old we are.
Yeah. I would say the gentleman might be in his 50s.
I'm going to be 50 in September.
Okay, so I was close. I can't guess. With women, it could be
1973, baby.
You were trying to be kind. I'm 51. 51?
Yeah.
I'm 51.
Okay. So, you know, it's one of those things where you still, you know, you guys are still owner operators. So I could tell you guys have the energy, because if you're doing it still at that age, then, you know, you're not scared of hard work. Right. So
I'm so tired though, bro.
Yeah. All the babies out there that whine about being tired and shit. But
I'm tired.
We just did a job yesterday, and I like to work, you know, like my, you know, like I do. But the refinishing part, the spraying.
Oh no,
I don't do that, but the prepping, I've done it, and I could do that like nobody's business.
She's an awesome prepper, bro. She's like the best one.
Well, I mean, my mom prepped up until she was like 45. So yeah, I mean, it's.
Oh, that's great.
My dad was spraying up until he was like 60. So what are you gonna do? You know, they had kids when they were older, so they just kept on working until they could pass it on, right? And so like, and I've told this story before, just so like everybody knows, like when we got the business, it was not in any sort of state where it was successful. Like it kept the lights on, don't get me wrong, but like you were, you know, talking about earlier, you know, they let a lot of things go. They didn't really know, okay, well, we have to keep the people, similar situation what you said, keep someone or advertise, and they didn't want people to leave, but you know, and then when they gave us the business, it was like $10,000 in debt. 4 people had left them. They were just like, we don't have any work. Like they would get like one job every like 2 days. And it was just like a regular tub, like things like that. And at that time, my parents were charging $239 for a bathtub.
That was 23 years ago for us.
Yeah. Well,
200. They're charging 200.
That was like 11 years ago for us. So, you know, but Orlando is super competitive in this area. There's always been like 7, 8, 9 companies. It's just like that. So, but yeah, I would seriously, if you guys are thinking about, you know, that at all, I would start trying to play around with it a little bit. And you cannot be afraid of spending money if you're going to have a business, because everything is a risk. Everything. The day you guys started a business was a risk. You can't stop now, because you got to remember that with risk comes reward. If you play it safe forever, all you're going to have is you're going to have a business that can keep you guys working forever. But do you want to work forever?
No.
You got
we want the systems in place so we could step away.
Yeah, you
Trying
guys
to pass it down. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That should be the goal for you guys. And I think the way you guys get there would be to start branching off and trying these different avenues. And then, like, once you guys get to a point where you can have one or two other people and you're still making enough money to where you don't have to be out in the field all the time, is then start hitting it hard with trying to get into commercial stuff more. I can tell by Rudy's energy, he would probably be a hell of a salesman.
Yeah.
Yeah. The thing we used to do a lot of apartment complexes. I mean, a lot of Sacramento. We used to do it, and we did it well. We made a lot of money, but when '08 hit, it kind of they stopped paying us.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they were still calling us to do work.
Okay.
And by 2010, we lost everything. We were bankrupt. We lost our 2 homes, and
wow.
None of it means nothing. The family still stayed together, but we lost everything. And I put my head in a hole for 9 years, but we fired all of them like 5 years ago. I said, that's it. We're not doing no more apartment. So we do only contract we have, only commercial we have is the Hard Rock of Sacramento. We clean their carpets and tile and grout and all that.
Well,
but we let go of all the apartments. And
I wanted to say that takes a lot of balls to just flat out come out and say like that. And I appreciate you being real there, man, because like obviously like I was a child when that shit happened. I'm 25. So I was but I remember my parents were living it. Like my parents had they had a investment property. They had a house that was the house we grew up in when we were really little, and they had just bought. I mean, at that time, the subprime mortgages, you can get a freaking house like nothing.
Right.
And they had a 6-bedroom, 5-bedroom house that we had moved into. And when 2008 hit, they lost everything, and we had to move to that investment property that had a trailer on it, and there was, my sister who was already an adult, her husband, because they got screwed too, my parents, my brother, and I. Like it was tough, and I heard a lot of things like that happening, and it's very unfortunate. But one thing I will tell you, and I agree, some of these shitty places who are not going to pay you and shit, don't mess with them. But be the top tier premium refinisher in your area who doesn't work with everyone. You don't need to work with everyone. Work with the companies that are worth working with, right? That's because like small properties or places that are like being assholes like that, they don't deserve your business anyway. I think you did the right thing stepping away from them, but I just think that you should try and find a route to come back to it. Just come back a little bit more prepared. Make sure everything's in writing. Get a lawyer, dude.
We've been thinking about it since we've been listening to you. I've been telling my wife, and she's been telling me, we need to go back.
Everything in writing.
But then I go and I give them my prices, and they're like, "Oh yeah, oh no, we get charged $375," and I'm like, I can't do it for $3. I need to change that for commercial.
Yeah. So so with commercial, there's one of two ways you do it. You either do it with the volume, or you do it with you be the guy that they know they can call on turnaround day who's not going to be busy for 2 months. Because the $375, if I was charging half of what I charge, I would be busy till like August. But I don't want to be like just busy with a bunch of cheap jobs. Why would I if I can raise my prices and lose half the clients and make twice the money, I don't care. I'm making more money overall, right? So, and that's that could be part of your pitch. It's like, I'm not going to be the $375 guy, but I'll be the guy who's here on turnaround day, and it's not going to have you waiting 2 weeks to come touch something up and have a tenant pissed off that they're all up in your, in your apartment. Like there's ways around it. I mean, that's one of the things that Danny does, which I, commend him for. He has some properties. He told me that, they're a little bit annoying to pay, but they're close enough that he'll deal with the headache. Like he does a lot of stuff that's closed in, but he says that a lot of his stuff, like he'll charge like $550 or $600 for tubs commercial in some of these places. And he says that, do they say he's expensive? Yeah, but he's like, that I'm going to be there on turnaround day, and I know I won't miss it. That if something goes wrong, all of our guys come back the next day for quality control. It's about providing that additional value to justify it to them. And not everyone's going to say yes. Obviously, in business, you got to be comfortable knowing that you're going to get more no's than yeses. But that doesn't mean you don't play the game, right?
Right. Yeah, but we've been thinking about it a lot lately.
And with the carpet cleaning stuff, is what makes more? Like, which aspect of the business?
Bathtub refinishing, without a doubt.
Definitely.
I mean, with carpet cleaning, we do hard water restoration, we do window cleaning, tile and grout cleaning, and but bathtub refinishing is, that's way more. And it was kind of funny when I got into carpet cleaning, because we were doing the turnarounds and doing the painting, maintenance, and all that,
Cleaning.
and the cleaning and bathtub refinishing. And I was asking a friend of mine, hey, do you want to clean my carpets, when I do the turnarounds, because I need a carpet cleaner? And he said, why don't you just buy my company? And me, back then, I was like, all right. So we've been in business 23 years. And when he taught me how to use the machine, he was there with me for 15 minutes and said, oh, I gotta go, man. So I've been learning. I became IIC certified and all that. You know what I mean? Okay. And all I got taught was 15 minutes. But that's how we got into carpet cleaning. And bathtub refinishing is way more.
Have you ever
way more dinero?
Have you ever considered about separating the two things?
Yeah, that's kind of, they're like, I have Rudy's Fantastic Shine refinishing systems, and then she's got the carpet cleaning systems. We try to separate them.
Okay, I see. Yeah, because I mean, the only reason I say that is because it allows for a little bit more focused advertising, and so like, it could confuse people theoretically. I don't know, like, you guys have a website and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Okay, so if somebody went on the site and saw like carpet cleaning when they went to go look for tubs, they might be like, what the heck? I'm in the wrong place. Things like that. They're just things that you might want to consider, but I haven't glanced at it, so I don't know.
Yeah, we've thought about it for 23 years.
Yeah, I mean, it's like there's a very popular like plumber out here. I don't even know if they're national or not, but it's called Frank Gay, and like they have like Frank Gay plumbing. They have Frank Gay like HVAC. They have Frank Gay like carpentry. They have everything. It's the same name, right? But it's just the other thing. So like your thing could be Rudy's this, Rudy's that, yeah, and it could work out like that. Yeah. It's just an idea that I had, but
yeah, we gotta I do comedy too, bro. I have Here Comes Trouble Entertainment.
Okay.
I'm a comedian too, and then we just started a lemonade Clinchies and Munchies, a pop-up stand,
and the My Salsa.
Oh yeah, but we got a 3-time award-winning salsa called My Salsa.
Okay.
And we're gonna be on my birthday for my 50th birthday.
You guys like doing the business thing then, right? You guys like the grind?
We do.
Oh, that's awesome.
We do. We're just trying to, just our whole goal when we started was the business, right? Not to be employed by somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't want that boss. We wanted to be our own boss.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, we just wanted to do this business and actually pass it down to the next generation, whoever would run it, and have it running by itself, and right now, unfortunately, we can't pass it down yet because it's not ready. And we have these other business ideas, that the family, also the kids, want to be self-employed too as well, and we have 3 of them, and it's just that's our goal. We want to we want to make Rudy's Fantastic shine where it's running on its own so we could pass it down.
Turnkey, and we're gone, and it's running on its own.
Yeah, but it's still what we wanted to make money still for us because we're aging. And so the kids don't have to, my thinking is I don't want the kids to come up with their money out of their pockets to take care of mom and dad when we can't do it. So
of course,
the Rudy's is to make that money come in, you know, and the other businesses too, you know.
So, you know, do they have other jobs right now? Are they doing something else?
Our son, the technician that we lost, right? Or we lost to from the business, you know, but he's doing he's a chef as well, so he's doing that. And my daughter, she's doing our marketing. She's learning more how to do that. And then our youngest, she's just with her boyfriend right now, and he's got his own thing going on.
He was our carpet cleaning too.
Yeah. So, yeah. But my daughter's boyfriend, he is a manager already and for 2 shops at Jiffy Lube. Okay. So we're like thinking in our head, oh, you know, he's going to be a good manager. He's learning all these skills right now. So, I mean, that's one thing what we're thinking about, you know.
So, like, I very much, I respect the sentiment, right? But I will tell you that them learning what a grind is, sometimes that's the fuel you need, right? Because like when you guys started and it wasn't going as hot as you thought, and then you started riding high, and then it came back down to earth a little bit, you were mentally prepared for that because you already went through it, right? And what I would hate for it to happen is for them to be handed something where it's up here, and then all they ever know is this. And then the moment shit hits the fan, they're scrambling back to you two who are supposed to be retired to pick up the pieces. Yeah. And then you guys are relying on it too. So I think this is just my opinion. I think that an approach to where you guys slowly start integrating them into more things, even if it's part-time and stuff like that, with the understanding that eventually you guys, you know, can have this and run it and operate it, but you need to learn these things, might be the best case scenario. Because obviously if you guys don't have, you know, like you guys have been struggling for work and stuff recently, if you guys don't have enough to fully employ them, at the very least start making those moves so that things are not a surprise to them. Because, you know, that would be a disaster. And I worry about stuff like that with people because I truly attribute part of the reason that me and my brother are successful is because we saw the ebbs and flows with the business, because we were involved in it even when we were younger. Like our parents were like, hey, you're not going to do this. You got to go work. Hey, you want to make extra money this week? You got to do this. And then as soon as it wasn't even a question. Like me and my brother have never worked other jobs. It was just like, we want to do this because we saw the potential, but we were always kind of like told like, hey, this is how the business is doing. Like, can you help us with this? And we started it's like almost like we started knowing the systems before it was even time to take it over. We fully knew how everything worked. So, you know, even though the business was struggling, like you were saying earlier, the system of how to handle the technicians, where to get materials, how to advertise the little bit that they were doing, we already kind of had an idea of how those things worked. So we weren't just coming in blind. And then we also knew, hey, our parents were kind of struggling there. How do we avoid that from an outsider's perspective? Because when you're in it, it's a lot harder to see what it is you're doing wrong. But from an outsider, somebody younger, sometimes they're like, well, you got to do this, this, and this. And younger people tend to take more risk. And that's one thing that, like I said earlier, in a business, you can never stop doing it because that everything good comes from that, right? And so sometimes you'll miss some, but you know, if you take calculated risks, that is how you grow and blow this thing up.
Right.
I think so. So,
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
We agree.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And so
sorry to cut you off. I never thought about it that way. And I am grateful to hear that coming because I mean, I didn't think about that.
We've been in it. We've been in the for so long, we're just used to it. And
yeah. Well, they'll call you like, "Hey, Dad, like, what the fuck's going on?" You're gonna be like, "Oh, that just happens," and they're gonna be like, "Wait, so what do I do?" And because you've already been through it, you got to do this, this, and this. But the last thing you want is to be like, you're chilling in Puerto Rico on the beach, and and they're calling you about we don't have money for payroll or something because the business is whatever, and like I feel like a certain sense of like getting them started, even if it's, it doesn't even have to be like a full-time, part-time thing. It's literally just when they have a couple of minutes, like, hey, this is happening. This is how we get through it. If you guys are serious about wanting to take this over in the future, you need to know these things, because literally, if you start them up here with this kind of expectation and then a dip happens, all hell can break loose. And a lot of people aren't fit to handle the pressure that comes with a business. And a lot of people quit and go back to their day job because, it's just, it could be very, very hard on people, especially like what happened to you guys where people don't know, like people owe you money. I'm in a situation right now like that. I mean, I have some guy that owes me $8,000, like, and it happens, like, but how do you get through it? How do you keep on going? How do you set up systems in the future to where that's not going to happen again and mitigate it and all of that, I think that would be a good way to approach things, especially if you're going to have the kids take it over.
Right.
Yeah, definitely.
I like the because I've been listening to your podcast too. My husband told me, "Hey, you gotta listen to these guys," and I'm like, "What a podcast?" But I started hearing you guys. I started hearing you guys, and I'm like, "Holy moly!" And they are how old? And I like the fact that you spoke about your parents, and it's very similar to us. And I the part where you're talking about the contracts, and I'm like, God dang, and I'm driving and I'm listening to this. I was like, God, I've been saying about this, the contracts. That's something that we lack, and we're going to implement that.
The contract.
Yeah.
It's because I trust everybody and I love so deeply. You know what I mean? I didn't feel we needed contracts, and we haven't had an issue with nothing like that. But it's good to have that in place. Like you talk about, like taking off fixtures and we do all that. But sometimes I forget to mention that we don't put them back. And, stuff like that. And there's been a couple instances where people thought they could pay me next week. And I'm like, no, it needs to be paid today. We don't do net 5 days or whatever.
Or shower door replacement. Putting the shower doors
putting
back.
The shower doors back on. And because we'll take them off. But our thing is we don't replace nothing. We refinish existing, and if we take something off, unless it's set up, we'll put it back. But most of the time, we ask them to get a plumber because we're not plumbers.
Same thing. That's kind of how I've always handled it. Although recently I have done a little bit more of the removal. I mean, we didn't remove drains until like this year. Like I would not touch someone's drain because one time, like 15 years ago, it snapped the plumbing and the guy tried to sue and it was a whole thing. So, and obviously we made them, we still had the things in place, but I was like, I'm not even going to deal with it. But lately we've just been like, okay, if it comes off with like a regular amount of force, we'll take it off. If we have to force it at all, it's staying and we just mask it.
Right.
But yeah, you got to have those things in place. You got to have those systems in place, man, because look, I'm one of those people where I know that I'll fall for advertisings and shit like that. And then me myself is that because I own a business, I have to be partially salesman too. And I just want to make sure that like when I'm like I have a lot of trust in people because of that. I just fall for things, not super easily, but like I'll catch myself like, dang, I can't believe I agreed to something so dumb, like after the fact, right? So I have just learned through word of mouth you can't, because the thing is things get lost. Like you can't, if you ever need to reference something, you can't just reference a conversation you had in the hallway, because he can say, no, you said this, and then you'd be like, no, I said that. And that's just why everything's done in writing. Everything legal is done in writing. Everything that's important is written down, and there's a reason for that. So even the smallest job I don't care if I'm going to their house to do a chip repair. They sign on a dotted line somewhere, because I'll tell you a story of why I do that. I went to a job once. The guy said, hey, I need someone to do this chip repair today, last minute. I was the only one that answered his call, whatever. He's like, I can't be there, but go ahead and do the chip repair, and then I'll tell you where the money is. I was like, oh, okay. As soon as we do it, he tells us he sends us a picture of this bag of cement that was in the garage, and underneath it was an envelope that was empty. And he was like, well, you guys were the only ones there. And I was like, why would I lie about something? He's like, I don't know. And then I was like, well, should I just take off the chip repair? He's like, no, because the money's gone. So I know you guys took it.
Oh, wow.
And I was just like, wow. So now every single customer that we work with the exception of like a hotel or resort or apartment, every single residential customer, I take a credit card at the time of booking. And if they're not there, I don't accept a cash or check. I will bill their credit card. If they want to give me a secure form of payment like that in person, that's one thing. But because they're physically handing it to you, but someone can claim whatever they want. Oh, he walked away with the check. I left it there. That's not how things work, buddy. Like I make them sign. It's going to be upon completion, and you need to be there to pay them, or it's going to be billed to the credit card we have on file. And do you get some people who are hesitant to give you a card? Yes, but this is one thing I've always said to everybody, and everybody who's implemented it agrees. If someone is not willing to give you a credit card before, like, to initiate you to go out in person and perform a service, do you think that they're going to be easy when it comes time to pay for said service?
Right.
Probably going to be a pain in the ass anyway, man.
Right.
It's just true.
Definitely.
Yeah, the way I do it is I have a system called Jobber, where it organizes the jobs and stuff for the guys, and it also has like a payment service kind of thing built into it. And I asked for a $1 deposit down, and the moment they put that $1 deposit down, it holds their card on file. And I will get people like, oh, I don't want to put down $1. And I'm like, if you're not willing to give me $1, how am I expecting you to give me $700, bro? I don't want to work with you. If you're not willing to put $1 down for me to spend $45-50 in gas, $100 or $150 for a technician, $70-80 worth of material, all of that, well, then I'm just not going to do it. I'll find someone who will. And that's just that. It's you're going to get some people who bitch about it, but most people are going to understand. You need to make sure, you need to establish that your time is worth something, regardless.
Right.
Regardless.
Right.
That's right.
And if someone cancels or no-shows, I charge them $200, and that is on every single invoice. You know why? Because your time is worth something. You pull up to a job, and they're like, I don't know if you've ever gotten this one. Hey, I know we're scheduled for today, but this other guy told me that he could do it for $350, and you're already here. So, you ever get one of those? I'll just tell them, I'll just charge your card the $200, and we just walk. Like that is literally for things like that. No call, no shows. People trying to price gouge you last minute and change things up. That's why I implemented that, and I have not had a single cancellation in like over a year because of that. Somebody really needs to think before they go and are going to go price shopping after they tell you yes and waste your time if they're actually going to do it or not. Because even though it's something so small, the $1, but also if they wanted to just change their card information, that enough is such a hassle for them that they would rather just stick to the original appointment than to try to rearrange something now. And it's worked for me. So I really do recommend that too. And that also will help you guys, because when you need every single job that's coming in, the last thing you want is to have a string of cancellations because it wasn't completely sure. And if you miss out on it because someone doesn't want to put $1 down, you need to ask yourself, do I want to work with someone who won't even be willing to give me $1? Like people give homeless people $5 They don't want to give you $1? No, I'm not working with you.
Right.
I just think that those are like the best ways to handle those situations. I did want to talk about some other things, and I will. But the way I usually do this, just so you guys know, is that I cut it up into multiple episodes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to end this part of the episode. We'll restart it back, and then we'll keep on going with the conversation, okay?
Sounds great.
All right. So I'm going to go ahead and end it here, and we'll go ahead and I'll start another one here in a minute, okay?
Yep.
You've been listening to the Bathtub Refinishing Podcast. If you liked what you heard, be sure to keep up with the Bathtub Guys on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram, or visit BathTubGuys.com for more. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.